StoryCorps CT features interviews gathered by the StoryCorps Mobile Tour in Connecticut. In this conversation, Bryan Sayles talks with his twin daughters, Molly and Emma, who are musicians.
Both Mom and I were real happy when you and your sister came home from school one day asking about joining elementary school band. Sometimes life got a little bit hectic. It provided an escape for your mom and I from some of the things that we were going through as a family. So no matter how difficult it was, your dedication to practice, performing, and your sheer joy in music kind of rubbed off on us and helped hold us together. And to this day, we're closer for it, I think. For you, Molly, what are some of your favorite musical memories?
I would say somewhat musically related are the memories that I have with you in terms of fixing up drums. I remember you came home one day and you said you went to this junk store and you came across this Ludwig drum set, and it was a silver sparkle finish. It was a Keystone Badge drum set, and it dates back to the 60s. It needed some work, just kind of like the other drum set, but I was so excited. And then I remember you had asked the junk store owner, like, what's the history behind this drum set? And he said, oh, Doris Day had this drum set or something like that.
Yeah,
so I thought that was a cool piece of history too. But we fixed that up, and I loved playing that drum set. That was one of my favorite things.
Yeah, I do remember my dad. I mean, both my parents are super supportive, and I do remember my dad always having an instrument for me every few years because he would usually find it off eBay. You bought me I think it was a King trombone, and the case was nice, but then my dad, he basically took like this pink material. I don't know what it's called, but you put it on the inside of the King case, and it looked like a beautiful coffin.
The important message there was that every time you got a new trombone, that each one was a little bit better, it put some wind in your sails, and you would just be re-energized, and you didn't care that it was a, vintage trombone, and, you'd show up at your tryouts for regionals or wherever it was, and boy, you would play the socks off of those things. And, I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed finding these things. Same for you, Molly, with the drum sets,
Right.
Molly, do you have a question?
I don't have a question, but I think I would just have a moment of gratitude and say thank you to my parents and you, Emma, for always being supportive of me as a musician. After performances and during performances, it's always been nice seeing your faces in the crowd and knowing that you're there to support me and smiles on your faces. And those are things that I'll always remember. And I'm getting a little bit emotional thinking about it, but I think when you enter another stage in life and not being able to see you on the audience, but have those memories and know that you'll always be there.
Same goes for me. It was, you enter different stages of life and you don't realize just how important those things are to you and your relationships. You've always been there for me, and Mom and Dad have always been there for me. And I appreciate all of you. And
of course.
And we're lucky that we have music to bring us all together.
Yeah, it's been great. Your mom and I have really enjoyed it, and we're continuing to enjoy it. And I'll always be there.
Bryan, Emma, and Molly Sayles in Quaker Hill, Connecticut. Produced locally by Connecticut Public Radio. See and hear more stories at ctpublic.org/StoryCorps-CT.
The StoryCorps Mobile Tour is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. StoryCorps CT is supported locally by Connecticut Humanities with funding from Connecticut's Department of Economic and Community Development, the Office of the Arts, and the state legislature.